beautiful life.
สวัสดีครับ and welcome to Beautiful Life on Englishonline.rmutp.ac.th. Every Monday from 1 o'clock until 1:30, we will meet each other. I am Ksem Puttarungsi as your host. We will pick a book each week, and sometimes each book will have some good phrase or some good quote that we can use in our life. This week we start with a book named The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This book was written by Professor Stephen R. Covey. This book separates into 7 parts. So let's take a look with the first part. The first part, they say to be proactive. To be proactive, Professor Stephen R. Covey said, when you are proactive, you make good choices about how you respond to something happening. You are always ready with a calm attitude. You do things to make sure that the right things will happen. You are prepared for anything that might happen. And finally, when things do not go your way, you are not happy, but you stay calm. In this chapter, Professor Stephen R. Covey said that proactive means you need to be active as a pro, and also you need to react to anything as a pro to become proactive. Next, Professor Stephen R. Covey talked about circle of influence. In this chapter, he said there are 2 things. The things you cannot control or the thing you cannot change. And also another thing is the thing you can control or you can change. So we take a look at the things that you cannot control or cannot change. Those are other people you cannot control. You cannot change other people. The weather you cannot change and you cannot control also. One more thing is the things you did wrong in the past. You cannot change. And how other people treat you, you cannot change, you cannot control also. Finally, Professor Stephen R. Covey said, homework you cannot control and you cannot change. And there are so many things that you can control or you can change in your life. The first one is your attitude. You can control by yourself. Your mood you can control by yourself. You can change by yourself. And also your reaction to good and bad things that happen. And finally, how you treat other people. Although things are the things you cannot change or control, and also those things you can control and you can change. And to be the proactive, you need to change how you handle things. You can make a choice to be positive and focus those things you can change. And also to be proactive, you need to make a positive difference in your family, your class, your school, and the world. One more thing, Professor Stephen R. Covey talked about to be proactive. There are 2 kinds of people. People that are proactive and people that are reactive. They are different. People who are proactive people will be people that do not blame anyone or anything. People with a proactive people always their behavior is a product of their conscious choice based on values. And also to be proactive people, you need to carry your work or anything whether with you all the time. And also you are still influenced by external stimulus, but your response is value-based choice or response. These are those who are proactive people. And we will take a look at reactive people. Reactive people always blame circumstances, always blames condition and conditioning all the time. And also reactive people behavior is a product of their conditions based on feelings. Reactive people, if weather is good, they feel good. If the weather is bad, they feel bad. And finally, reactive people build their lives around other emotions. So you can choose to be proactive people, or you need to be a reactive people. You can see the difference. That's all for the first part of this book about to be proactive. So the choice is yours. The next chapter, chapter 2, habit number 2, they said begin with the end in mind. Professor Stephen Covey said that do not spend your life working aimlessly, tackling whatever job is at hand. However, a vision for the future and align your actions accordingly to make it into a reality. So the discussion starts with Professor Stephen Covey mentioned about what is the end for you. What do you hope to be doing 10 years from now, 20 years, and then make a list of things you want to do in your life. And before you figure out the end, you have to take a look at who you are. First, Professor Stephen Covey said you need to grab a piece of paper and draw a picture of something that represents you or yourself. It could be an animal, plant, machine, a food, etc., or anything you can imagine, and explain why you choose that thing, that to explain yourself and what you did. So maybe grab a piece of paper and draw a picture on the paper right now. Then Professor Stephen Covey talking about story of your life. Professor Stephen Covey said that in 10 years now, a newspaper decides to do a story about you. They interview 4 people about you. These people could be your friends or family. So imagine, what would you want them to say about you? Then you need to write down the mission statement. Professor Stephen Covey said that now think about what kind of person you want to be and then make a list. Suppose, I want to be a hard worker. I want to be a good student. I want to be a kind person. I want to be a talented artist. Anything you can imagine, and you can write down the mission statement. What do you want to be? So when you finish with this step, then you need to write down your mission statement. Use the 2 lists to write a mission statement. This is a sentence or a paragraph about the person you want to be. Here are some examples. My mission is to laugh a lot. My mission is to learn as much as I can. My mission is to work hard at home, at school, and in my sports. Or my mission is to be kind to others. My mission is to take good care of myself. Or my mission is to get better at my art. Anything. So write down maybe 2 sentences about your mission statement. And then at habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. Professor Stephen Covey said you need to have an interactive sentence. Maybe you need to be a sprout sentence, or you need to be a family sentence, or you need to be money sentence, you need to be work sentence, or you need to be possessions sentence, you need to be pressure sentence, you need to be friend sentence or enemy friend sentence, you need to be church sentence, or you need to be self-centeredness. So define what kind of centeredness you would like to be, the alternative sentence you want to be, and write down. And then you need to be a principle center. To be a principle center, Professor Stephen Covey talk about this as principle center into 4 categories. The first one about security, which means principles do not change, only our standing from them does. And principles do not react to anything. Principles are larger than circumstances. So all these things form a security in a principle center. And moreover, wisdom and guideline. Principles supply the correct maps to all of us. And also, principle will be personal power. Professor Stephen Covey said that unrestricted by the attitudes, behaviors, and actions of others. And finally, only limitations, the natural consequences of the principles themselves, a universal law, will be a principle center. So when we know about all this the principle center, so we come to the next topic, that is using a mission statement. So right now, I believe that all of us will have our statement already. The first one, we need to think through conscious of our own uniqueness. We detect our mission in life by working within our circle of influence. It will take time and should be reviewed regularly. And the process is as important as the product. Use our own brain, use our whole brain to have our imagination to visualize and affirm. We use our right brain to think about to imagine and visualize and affirm anything that we would like. And we need to use our left brain to capturing those images and plotting them. So we need to use both left brain and right brain. And then affirmations in personal, or sometimes we need to affirm positively. We need to affirm in present tense, write in present tense. And also we need to write something in emotional way. And finally, we need to visualize them also. That's all for the second part, to begin with the end in mind. So we'll come to the next chapter, the third one. The third one from the book is to put first things first. Habit number T, put first thing first. So Professor Stephen Covey said that the practical fulfillment of habit number 1 and number 2 will be in this chapter in habit number T3, to put first thing first. So we need to exercising independent will to become principle center through day-to-day effective self-management. And also we need to manage from the left versus lead from the right. And we need to have a measure of the value we place on ourselves. And we need to have an ensuring that our habits are function of our values, not our mood or the circumstances of the moment. And also finally, we need to have our management amounts to discipline in the area of life and time management. So we need to put first thing first in this chapter. And this chapter will be the practical fulfillment from habit number 1 and number 2, because right now we have our statement sentence already. So we will go through the chapter 3 together. First thing first. First thing first means first things, those are things that you personally find most worth doing. They move you in the right direction, and they help you achieve the principle-centered purpose expressed in your mission statement. Because we have our mission statement already from the chapter 2, so right now we need to put our first thing first. And the key is not to prioritize our schedule, but to schedule our priorities. Professor Stephen Covey said, the key is not to prioritize our schedule, but to schedule our priorities. And Professor Stephen Covey talk about 4 kinds of people. The first one, the procrastinator. The second one, the prioritize. The third one, the yes man. And the last one, the slacker. They divide into two categories: the important tasks and non-important tasks, the urgent tasks and non-urgent tasks. and form four kind of people. As I have already mentioned, the first one is the procrastinator. The procrastinator always doing something right at the period, before the period that the event will happen. For example, the exam will have the exam tomorrow. The procrastinator will study today. The procrastinator sometimes when their friends get injured, they think it is important and urgent thing, and sometimes they late for work. Anything that is important and urgent thing will come to the procrastinator. And also the project due date, or the project that due today, we need to start our project, we need to work hard today. And finally, car broke down important. So this one are the tasks that all the procrastinator will do in the first category that Professor Stephen R. Covey talked about. And the next one, the number two, the category number two is the prioritize. The prioritize always have a planning, or they have goal setting all the day, all the time. And sometimes they have the work that due in a week. The prioritizer will start doing at the first or at the beginning of the week, not wait until the last day before the due date of the task. And also the exercise, the relationship and relaxation, the prioritizer will prioritize very well in this category. The third one is the yes man. Yes man always think an important phone call as an urgent thing to do, and also they have an interruptions all the way. The yes man always thinks other people's small problem will be the important thing that they need to do immediately. And finally, the peer pressure will be anything that the yes man need to do immediately always. And the last one, the slacker. Professor Covey said that the slacker maybe sometimes too much TV, too much cell phone or text all the time. Sometimes they have endless phone calls or text messaging. The slacker always have excessive gaming. The slacker, maybe they have Facebook all the time, they have Line all the time, or sometimes they have Facebook addiction. And finally, the slacker always have mall marathons, shopping all the times, or sometimes they have wasters will be those slacker. So maybe you need to categorize which category, the procrastinator, the prioritizer, the yes man, or the slacker that you will be. Then Professor Stephen R. Covey take a deeper look about the procrastinator. The procrastinator always think about the urgency. An activity is urgent if you or other feel that it requires immediate action. The procrastinator always think this way. The procrastinator always leads to stress and anxiety, and sometimes feeling burnt out and mediocre performance also. The procrastinator, example of procrastinator are Polly, the procrastinator motto. Polly always think that I am going to stop procrastinating sometime soon. Even they would like to be quit to be a procrastinator, they need to wait. And do not expect her to study for a test until the night before, or expect her to get gas. She's too busy driving. So the first one will be the procrastinator. The next one will be the yes man. The yes man always people pressure. People pressure. The yes man will save the best for last. Yes man always people pressure. People pleaser. These things are important to other people than yourself. Yes man always do anything that other people would like them to do. Yes man is he who tries to please everyone, please no one. And also the yes man lack of personal discipline. Finally, the yes man end up feeling like doormat for others to wipe their feet on. The example of yes man is Yanni the yes man. Yanni the yes man has his own motto. The motto is, tomorrow I am going to be more assertive, if that's okay with you. So he really did not want to join the swimming team. He liked art, but his dad was a swimmer. And of course, he did not want to let his father down, so he will be a swimmer like his father. He did not decide anything by themselves. Yanni the yes man. Professor Stephen Covey said that sometime or something to ponder. This one's for yes man. I don't know the key to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everyone. And the next one is the slacker. The slacker is the person always lack of responsibility and sometimes less chance of success. And the slacker always has a higher anxiety and stress level. And the slacker always have a higher chance of depression. And the slacker always tends to be flaky. The slacker credo is why try harder when this is good enough. Professional laughter, sleeping until noon, take real skill. After all, school is the last thing on their mind. They are young and healthy, so why work? Do nothing rocks. That one is the slacker. And finally, the prioritize. The prioritize will be the best one. The prioritize always control in your life. The prioritize always accountable for actions. And this kind of people has less stress and anxiety. And this kind of people have more effective in school, in life, and in relationships. And the prioritizer has high performance and more balanced. The example of the prioritized are Polly. The prioritized is by no means perfect, but she can balance her responsibilities with the things she enjoys and has a fulfilling balanced life. She is not as stressed because she has nothing and no one looming over her. So finally, Professor Covey said you need to plan. You need to have a plan. You need to have any planning. Why the planning is so important? The planning is so important because you can control your life better. You can manage the things you have to do and make more time for the thing you want to do also. And you will have less stress and anxiety in your life. You will have better relationships and you will have a better chance of success. Finally, now let's go over how to plan. But unfortunately today, the times for beautiful life is up for today. Before we end our program today, I have some news from Rajamongkol University of Technology, Pranakon. Before we end our show today, Rajamongkol University of Technology, Pranakon right now join hands with SCG Grant Driving Business Innovation. On the 27th of March, Dr. Natwarapon Ratsiri Wacharabun, the president of Rajamongkol University of Technology Pranakon, together with Dr. Prin Bunkanit, Vice President for Administration, Research and Innovation, they signed a memorandum of understanding recently with the purpose of joining develop research, innovation, academic service, and knowledge management to create benefits for research, business information, and prompt and support education, including the connection of business networks that may be involved with SCG grant last week. And the last news from Faculty of Mass Communication Technology from ราชมงคล University of Technology พระนคร The Dean from Faculty of Mass Communication Technology Assistant Professor Dr. วิชพร เทียบจตุรัส Dean of the Faculty of Mass Communication Technology right now showing good faith and adhere to anti-corruption according to the policy of the university to create morality, ethics, transparency, and corporate culture. Adhere to anti-corruption in all forms by adhering to correctness and justice as the principle of operation and the performance of duties of personnel at all levels. So those are the news from ราชมงคล University of Technology พระนคร So that's all for today, beautiful life. We will be back again next Monday. Thank you for joining us today program. Hope to see you again next week. Thank you and goodbye for today.
Beautiful Life will be back again next Monday.